Guys, good morning. Will we start? Ah, okay. So I think we just saw the consolidation of all the four laws, right? So then we went on to see something called as an ideal gas equation, right? So what is the equation, people?
PV equal to nRT.
Correct, right? So that's the most important equation in this chapter, right? PV is equal to nRT, right? Where P is the pressure, V is the volume, T is the temperature. In Kelvin, please don't forget that you should substitute the value of temperature on and only in Kelvin, right? And N is the number of moles. And what is R? What is
Universal
R?
gas
I have one
constant.
question, sir. I have one
Ah,
question,
yes,
sir.
Kunal, tell me.
Sir, yesterday I read the first lesson, sir. Sir, yesterday I read the first lesson, sir. Some basic concepts of chemistry. Sir, is the
Okay.
first 4 pages important, sir? Because in the third and the fourth page, they are asking that history and all, sir. That Nagarjuna history, saying, sir, that chemistry history
What
is
what is what wait. What is there in the first four pages?
sir. Chemistry history, sir. I don't know, sir. That Nagarjuna, like history, sir.
No, not important, not important.
Not no,
Right?
sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, so you just start right away with moles. What is moles? What is mole concept? Stoichiometry? Yeah, that is the concentration
Okay.
terms, molarity, molality. All these are only important. Okay. So yeah, what is the value of R? Universal gas constant is R. What is the value? There are two values I told you which you can use.
One is 0.082 per
Okay,
liters.
one. Yeah. Correct. So 0.0821. So when should I use that?
And pressure is in ATM and volume is
Hmm.
in liters.
Correct. Right. So R value is 0.0821 if pressure is in atm and volume is in liters. Okay. Right. What is the other value? What is the other value of R?
8.314.
8.314.
Right. 8.314. Okay. So when should I use that?
Pressure
When
should be
pressure
in
is in
Pascal.
terms of Pascal and volume
Okay.
is in terms of MQ.
Exactly. Right. Whenever you use your SI units, right? Whenever you use your SI units of pressure and volume, that is your Pascal or Newton per meter squared, or for volume to be meter cube, right? At that time, you will see that your what is that? Your R value will be 8.314. I told you mostly you will be using this 8.314 only in energy transitions when you go for thermodynamics next chapter, right? So there you will be using this R value as 8.314 because energy transitions will happen whenever joules or some other thing comes in. At that time, you will be using 8.314. Majority in this chapter, you will be using R value as 0.0821 only. Is that cool? Right. So today we'll do some problems on this ideal gas equation, right? Okay. And yeah, one more thing I have to say. So along with this, people, right? So there is one more simple law which we have to know. I think we should have already seen it, but we'll see it again. Have you seen this law? Dalton's law of partial pressures. Have you ever heard this, guys? Dalton's law of partial pressures. Have you ever heard this term?
No, sir.
You have not
No,
heard it?
sir.
Okay, fine. So we'll take the statement first. Take down the statement for Dalton's law of partial pressures. Okay, so it says the total pressure in a gaseous mixture, the total pressure in a gaseous mixture is equal to is equal to the sum of is equal to the sum of individual partial pressures, individual partial pressures of the gaseous components, individual partial pressures of the gaseous components in the mixture, in the mixture. Okay, right, fine. So we understood that obviously, say if I have some three gases in a mixture, right? Say I have a gaseous mixture in which say I have O2, N2, and H2, right? So obviously they are telling the total pressure of this mixture is equal to the partial pressure of the individual components. That is partial pressure of O2. Say I have in this thing I have O2, N2, and H2. This is a gaseous mixture, right? So what it says is the total pressure is equal to the sum of individual partial pressures. That is partial pressure of O2 plus partial pressure of N2 plus partial pressure of H2. This is very simple to understand, right? But what we have to understand is what do you mean by these partial pressures, right? So for that we'll take an example, right? Wow, to understand this partial pressure, we'll take an example, right? Fine. So let us assume that the volume here is V. The total volume available in total volume of this container is V. Okay, and say the okay. So now, how do we understand partial pressure is? Okay, so the thing is, there is going to be three components, right? Say I talk about N2, right? So N2 will have some pressure, isn't it? N2 will have its own individual pressure, isn't it? So how will I correlate it is, say for example, if I put this N2 in the same volume, same temperature, volume and temperature in this vessel and in this vessel are constant, like same, right? If I have only N2 in this, if I have only N2 in this, right? So obviously what is the pressure developed here? Like what is the pressure developed in this vessel will be the partial pressure of N2 in this vessel. Did you understand what I said?
Could you
Okay, I'll repeat
explain
it again.
once?
Sure, sure. So obviously, right? So the thing is, okay, so I have all the three gases here, right? Say the total pressure here is 10 atm, assuming, right? Total pressure of this is 10 atm. Okay, right? So now I want to know what is the individual contribution of these three gases, of what is the individual pressures of these components. So partial pressure generally talks about if that gas present in the mixture, right? That gas present in the mixture, if filled in a separate container, if filled in a separate container of same volume and at same temperature, right? So what is the pressure there in that? What is that? The second vessel is what will be the partial pressure of this particular component, right? I'll tell you. So, for example, if it is 10 atm here, right? And for example, if I have the empty vessel in which I have only N2 and I have the volume and temperature to be same as the previous case, right? And I find that the pressure of N2 here is 3 atm, right? So obviously what I understand is N2's partial pressure here is going to be equal to 380. Did you understand what I said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically partial pressure will come into the picture only when I have a gaseous mixture, right? So that partial pressure of the gas in a mixture is equal to the pressure of that particular gas in a separate vessel for the same volume and temperature. Yes? Okay. So if you don't understand, it's very simple. Like say, obviously the total pressure is 10 atm. Obviously, I'm going to have the individual contributions of pressures coming from all these three gases. That individual contribution is what is called as your partial pressure. Very simple. And put it in simple words. Okay. So what Dalton's law says is that the total pressure of this gaseous mixture is equal to the individual sum of the individual partial pressures of the individual gases in the mixture. Right? Okay. Now, I will be able to get this thing. What is that? Relation between the partial pressure and the total pressure. Okay, we'll see how to do that. Right. So please understand there is a derivation for this, but you don't need it, I guess. Right. Right. Or we can do it actually. We will be able to do it, but it's not required. See, please understand this. When I want, say, I have two components A and B in a mixture, a gaseous mixture. I have two gases A and B. Okay. So when I want to talk about partial pressure in terms of total pressure, right? I want to talk about partial pressure in terms of total pressure, right? Now that is a very easy thing. So this is equal to the mole fraction of A into the total pressure. Same way, partial pressure of B will be XD into total pressure, right? So two formulas which you have to remember, right? One is the total pressure is equal to the sum of the individual partial pressures. Second one, how will you relate partial pressure with the total pressure? So partial pressure of one component is equal to mole fraction of that component into the total pressure. Okay, so if you are interested, you can actually go through the definition, go through the derivation for this, but it's not important. Okay, right? So these two formulas, along with your PV is equal to nRT, you have to remember. Okay, so now we'll go for problems. Okay, take down the question. A gas at a pressure of 5 bar, a gas at a pressure of 5 bar is heated from from 0 degrees Celsius, and 0 degrees Celsius to 546 degrees Celsius. Okay, a gas at a pressure of 5 bar is heated from 0 degrees Celsius to 546 degrees Celsius, and is simultaneously compressed to 1/3 of its initial volume, and is simultaneously compressed to 1/3 of its initial volume. Right, so they're asking what is the final pressure is the question, right? What is the final pressure? I repeat the question. A gas at a pressure of 5 bar is heated from 0 degrees Celsius to 546 degrees Celsius and is simultaneously compressed to 1/3 of its initial volume, right? So they're asking what is the final pressure? That is, when I have 546 degrees Celsius, what will be the pressure? Okay, right? Fine. So how will you approach this problem, people? Look at the question, take a minute and tell me how will you approach the problem. Now here I don't have any gaseous mixture, because there is no question of what is that, Dalton's law of partial pressures. It's only going to be an ideal gas equation. But how will you approach? Tell me.
So temperature is in Celsius, sir.
Yeah, temperature in Celsius, correct. 0 degrees Celsius and 546 degrees Celsius. So what you see here is that, say for example, if this particular problem was given at constant temperature, that is, temperature is not varying, at that time what you would have done? Tell me. Did you understand the question? I'm asking, say all the things are okay, right? So pressure is changing, volume is changing, but temperature is constant. Then what you would have done in this question? What you would have used to solve this problem?
Boyle's law.
Correct, right? You would have used Boyle's law, because Boyle's law says pressure and volume are inversely related when I have temperature to be constant. But here, the temperature is also changing. So no, you will not be able to use Boyle's law. So you have to use the ideal gas equation. Correct? Right?
Yes, sir.
So now, how will you approach the problem?
We have to convert 5 bar to ATM and then degree Celsius to Kelvin.
Okay. Degree Celsius to Kelvin must, but we know that approximately 1 bar is 1 ATM. Correct.
So
You
5
can
ATM.
even write, so 5 ATM. So that is okay. Right. Okay. Then. Now, please understand this. I have PV is equal to nRT. Correct. Right.
Yes, sir.
So here they didn't speak anything about number of moles. That means obviously the number of moles is not changing. As we can actually assume that. Right. Okay. Anyways, so now what I'm saying is N is constant, R is constant, all the other things are varying. Correct. Right. So, or if I do it for 1 mole of a gas, right? I'll not even write N. Right. I'll assume that there is 1 mole of a gas. N is 1. Right. So PV is equal to RT. Right. So what you see is pressure is changing, volume is changing, temperature is changing. Only R is constant. Right. So can I write it like this? T1 V1 by T1 is equal to T2 V2 by T2 is equal to R?
Yes, sir.
Yes. How did you do in Boyle's law? Pressure and volume are inversely related. So you made a constant there. P is equal to K by V. So then what you did? P1 V1 equal to P2 V2 equal to P3 V3, so on and so forth. Here what you have? Here you have temperature also to be changing. So you just include P1 V1 by T1 equal to P2 V2 by T2. So this is obviously equal. This is obviously equal to R. Yes. Can we use this?
Yes, sir.
Everybody understood how am I using this? Guys?
Yes, sir.
How many people are there?
Yes, sir.
So many people. Everybody understood. Okay.
Yes,
fine.
sir.
I assume that you understood. Cool. So now that just substitute the values. Tell me the answer. Do not forget temperature to be in Kelvin. Everything else is given. Initial pressure P1 is given. The relation between volume and V1 and V2 are given. What they're telling? The final volume is 1/3 of the initial volume. So V2 will be 1/3 of V1. That's what is given in the question. Right? So they're asking you what is the P2 value. So if I substitute the values, P wing 5 into V1 0 degrees Celsius, so 273 Kelvin. So P2 is what I have to find. This is 1/3 V1 divided by T2 is 546. So 546 plus 273 will become 9, 11, and 7, 719. Right? So V1 gets cancelled. Okay. And I think I have to do the calculations. Right? So it will be P2 will be 5 into 3 into 719 divided by 273. 273 into 3 is how much? 273 into 3 is 9. 273.
819, sir.
849, huh?
819.
819. We are get. Oh, so did I do any mistake? Oh fuck yes. Oh sorry. It is 808. It is 819 guys. So 5 plus 2 7 plus 1 800. So this is 819, not 719. So yeah, you can cancel it 3 times. Right. So yeah, so you can see that 5 into 3 into 3, 15 into 3 is how much?
45.
45, right? That's the answer. 45 bar is the answer. Yes, easy question. Very simple, right? Okay, we'll do one more question. Okay, the next question. Yes, everybody has taken down this. Yes, your next question. A 8.3 liter cylinder. A 8.3 liter cylinder contains a 8.3 liter cylinder contains 128 grams of O2. Contains 128 grams of O2 at 27 degrees Celsius. At 27 degrees Celsius. The question is, what mass of O2 must be released? What mass of O2 must be released to reduce the pressure? To reduce the pressure to 6 bar. To reduce the pressure to 6 bar. Okay, repeat the question. A 8.3 liter cylinder contains 128 grams of O2 gas at 27 degrees Celsius. Right? Now they're asking what mass of O2 must be released to reduce the pressure to 6 bar. Right? So what they're telling is I have initially some content or some volume, right? It contains some amount of O2, some initial pressure. Okay. So what they're doing now is letting some amount of the gas go out, right? So obviously the pressure will decrease, right? So that decreased pressure is 6 bar, right? Now they're asking how much O2 should have been gone? What mass of O2 should have been released? Right? This question looks tricky, but it is not. It's very simple, right? Can you try? I'll give you 2-3 minutes. Think about it. This is just this equation. PV is equal to nRT. You just use it properly. Yes, any idea how to do this problem? So if you're smart, right? So this is how you'll do the problem, right? See, understand, initially there is some gas and it exerts some pressure and that pressure is not given. We don't know what is the pressure, right? But we will be directly using the ideal gas equation like this. How will we use? So I have PV is equal to nRT, right? Okay. So I don't know what is the pressure. Actually, I know what is the pressure after the gas is released, isn't it? I know what is the pressure after the gas is released. Now you can do it in two ways, right? What you can do is, say I can use this equation P1 V1 by N1 T1, R is constant. Here number of moles is also changing because some amount of gas is getting expelled, is equal to P2 V2 by N2 T2. T2, oh, nothing is changing. So you can now you can see what and all is not changing from here, right? What is not changing? You tell me.
Temperature is not changing.
Temperature is not changing, so I can cancel this out. Okay. What else is not changing? One more thing is not changing. What is not changing?
Volume, sir?
Yes, it is the same vessel, right? It is the same vessel, 8.2 liter vessel, the same cylinder, right? So obviously volume is also not changing. So volume also can be cancelled. V1 is equal to V2. So what I have is basically what? P1 by N1 equal to P2 by N2. Substitute it. Get me the answer. But what we don't know here is P1. We know P2, right? We know N1. We don't know N2 also. So this is not the way by which you will be using your using this law, right? What we have to do, I'll tell you, right? So I can just use this PV is equal to nothing only once. I don't even have to equate with anything, right? Okay, so what can I do is say P. Okay, so I know I don't know what is the pressure. Let me keep it as okay. I know what is the pressure. Pressure is what? 6 bar. So I'll keep it as 6 atm. 6 atm. Volume is also given 8.3 liters, right? 8.3 liters is what is given, is equal to number of moles. How will I have to calculate from number of moles. I have to calculate what is the mass which is reduced. How much amount of O2 gas has escaped, isn't it? So now I know number of moles is equal to. Now you tell me.
Given mass by molar mass.
Correct, right? So it is given mass, some mass divided by the molar mass, right? Initially I had some amount, right? Initially I had some amount. They have given what is the initial amount? 128 grams of 128 grams of O2 are there. In that, some amount of gas has escaped. I don't know what is the amount, and that's what we have to find. Let me keep it as X. Right, 128 minus X. This is the amount which is actually there after the gas has evolved, escaped. Correct? So 128 minus X. This X is the amount of gas which has escaped. Right? So now divided by, this is the given mass, molecular mass of O2 gas is 32. O is 16. O2 is 32. Right? Into R, which is 0.08. We can keep it as 0.08. What is the temperature? Temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, which is 300 Kelvin. Done. So what you have to find here, every value is known, only X is what is asked in this question. Go for it. Yes, guys, everybody understood how I wrote this equation? Does anybody have any doubt here?
No, sir.
Easy, right? So this is the final pressure. The volume is not changing, still 8.3. 128 was there initially. In that, some amount has got released. And all this is molecular mass and all the other things are same. That's what I have to find the X value.
So I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So here we just took 128 minus X, no sir. Instead you can just put X by 32 and then find the final mass and subtract it from 128.
That also you can do. Okay, you
I
can
got
just find it as
61.6, sir.
you can just put it as some mass. You can calculate what is the mass, and this mass is the mass of the gas which is inside after some gas has evolved. So this should be equal to 128 minus something, minus some x. So yeah, anyways, either way,
I got 61.6, sir.
61.6.
Sir, I got 121.7, sir.
121.7. There is no options like that. I mean, there are no answers like that. But anyways, we'll try to do it. Okay, so it's 128 minus x. We'll keep it like this, right? So what and all I'll be able to cancel. Say
8
this
and 30.
0.01 times and 4 times, right? 8 4 to 32. And this also I'll be able to cancel as 7 times, 28, 75 times. Correct? Sorry. Yeah, 75 into 4, correct, 75 times, right? Okay, and then what else? Yeah, that's it, right? Okay, so you can write 128 minus x is equal to 6 into 8.3 divided by 0.01, okay, 0.01 into 75. So 0.01 into 75 will become 0.75. So 6 into 8 is 24, or like approximately if I calculate 22,400 divided by 75 if I take, so it approximately 3 times, correct? So 3 times would be 210, 210 plus 15 is 225, 150, 32 grams. That's it, I got the answer. Answer is 32. X value is 32 grams. Simple, right? How much time it took for me to calculate? Okay. Right, any doubts here? Any questions here? Everybody understood? Guys,
Yes, sir.
I think there is some problem with the earphone. Guys, I think I have to take out the earphones. This thing will be little difficult.
Guys, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
But it is a little low, right? The voice is a little low, no?
Yes, sir. Bits, sir.
Okay, we'll adjust. We are just doing problems, right? So I'll speak to I'll try to speak loud, as loud as possible. Okay. Right. Cool. So we'll do one more question. What is the time? Or just give me a moment, guys. Just give me a moment. I'll see whether I have some other possibilities. Yes, guys. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Right. Sorted. So anyways, is there any doubt in this question? Can we move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Fine. One more question. Okay, this is a nice question. Take down. 1 gram of H2 gas, 1 gram of H2 gas and X grams and X grams of O2 gas, 1 gram of H2 gas and X grams of O2 gas exert a total pressure of 5 atm. Exert a total pressure of 5 atm. If the partial pressure of O2 is 4 atm, if the partial pressure of O2 is 4 atm, find the mass of O2 in the mixture. Find the mass of O2 in the mixture. So what they're telling, I'll repeat the question. 1 gram of H2 gas and X grams of O2 gas exert a total pressure of 5 atm, right? If the partial pressure of O2 gas is 4 atm, find the mass of O2 gas in the mixture, right? Now, tell me what I have to use here. Do I have to use PV is equal to nRT?
Use that other formula, sir.
What is it? What is the other formula?
PT equal to PA plus PB.
Yeah, correct. What is the name? I mean, what is the law?
Law of partial pressure.
Dalton's law of partial pressures, right? Okay, so yes, that is what we have to use here, right? So remember, there are two equations. Right? So one equation is total pressure is the part. Now in this case, partial pressure of O2 plus partial pressure of H2. Correct? Right? And one more equation is partial pressure of O2 is equal to total pressure into the mole fraction of O2. Same way, partial pressure of H2 is total pressure into mole fraction of H2. Correct? These two equations we already saw, right? So now what is given in the question? They have given the total pressure. Correct? So they have given the partial pressure of O2 also. What they're asking is what is the mass of O2? So obviously for finding the mass of O2, we require what is the number of moles of O2, right? So from number of moles, I'll be able to calculate what will be the mass. And how will you calculate number of moles from here? How will you calculate the number of moles from here?
And find PO2, sir. Total
PO2
pressure of O2.
PO2 is given, PT is given. Okay. So how will you, what is the formula for mole fraction, people? How will you write this mole fraction?
Number of moles by number of moles in solution.
Number of moles of that particular component divided by total number of moles. Correct? So I can write X of O2 to be equal to number of moles of O2 divided by number of moles of O2 plus number of moles of H2. This we have already studied in your first chapter, mole fraction, right? So XO2 is equal to number of moles of O2 divided by total number of moles. Yes, right? Fine. So now they have given what is the mass of H2 gas also. Go for it. Tell me the answer. What is the mass of O2? So you have to use only this equation. PO2 is given, P total is given. So mole fraction is this. In this, I know the number of moles of H2 also because they have given it as 1 gram H2, right? So you just have to find the number of moles of O2. From that, find the mass of O2. Go for it. So guys, we already spoke about the test. The test should happen by this weekend. Okay, the test should happen by this weekend, and the portion would be periodic table. Okay, right. So please make a note of it, right? So by this weekend, you will have a test of 40 marks from periodic table. One
When
and
will
a
we
half
start
hours
the
test.
discussion, sir?
Sorry.
Thermodynamics. When will we start thermodynamics, sir?
This would take still 2-3 more classes, and then I'll start thermodynamics.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yes, any answers?
So I am not sure, sir.
Tell me.
It's at 64 grams.
I think it should be correct. Anyways, we'll do it. Any other answers, people? Anybody else calculated some other value? Because I'm not sure. This might be right. Okay, fine. So we'll just substitute the values here. So PO2 is given as 4 atm, partial pressure of O2. And the question is given as 4 atm, and your partial total pressure is given as 5 atm. Into this will come number of moles of O2 divided by number of moles of O2 plus number of moles of H2. They have given the given mass of H2 is 1 gram. So 1 divided by 2 is what I have. 2 is the molecular mass of H2. Correct. So now 1 by 2, how can I write? I can write it as 0.5. Right. So moving on. Now what I'll do is 5 by 4 is 0.2. 0.2 is equal to number of moles of O2 by number of moles of O2 plus 0.5. So if I bring this here, I have 0.2 number of moles of O2 plus 0.01 is equal to number of moles of O2. So if I bring this here, 0.01 is equal to number of moles of O2. 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8, right? So number of moles of O2 is 0.01 divided by 0.8. Okay, or I can write it as number of moles of O2 is 1 divided by correct, 1 divided by 8. Can I write? No. Okay, let me keep it like this one. 0.01 by 0.8. Okay, now this number of moles is equal to given mass by molecular mass. Given mass we don't know. So let me take mass of O2 divided by what is the molecular mass of O2 is 32. No problem. Now I'll be able to cancel 0.8, that is 0.1 times and 4 times. right? So if I bring this 4 up, I have mass of O2 to be 0.04. Oh, did I do something wrong? This is partial pressure of O2 is 4, 5. Okay. So, oh, that is the mistake, right? What is 4 by 5? 4 by 5 is 0.4. So now this will become 0.4, and this would have become 0.6. Okay, I think now it will make some sense, hopefully. So 32 divided by 6. Again, I think. Oh, yeah, this will also change, right? So 0.05 into 0.4, sorry, 0.5 into 0.4 will become 20. So it's 0.2. Oh, yeah, 0.2. So this is 0.2. Okay, so 0.2 by 0.6. So molecular mass of O2 would be 0.2 into 32 divided by 0.6. Four by 5 is 0.4. Number of moles of O2 is
So you
okay.
can try by keeping fractions, come easily. Instead of putting 0.5, 1 by 2, you can keep.
Understood what you're telling. So I have anything which I missed, 0.5 into 0.4. 2.20. Yes, 0.2 is okay. Or it's 0.02. Even if it's 0.02, doesn't make any difference. Five into 4 is 20. Yes, this is 0.2. Okay. Or I can just write it as 1. This is 0.3, 1 by 0.3. Or I can write it as 1 by 3, but doesn't matter. 1 by 3 into 32. But that is not the answer. Answer is, I'll tell you the answer. What is this question? 9th question. Yeah, what did you get, Rohan? 64?
Yes, sir, I got 64 grams.
Answer. 64 is the answer. Right? But what am I doing wrong?
So 4 into 0.5 is 2, no, sir?
4, no, it's 0.4 into 0.5, right? 0.4 into
Okay.
0.5. So it is 0.2. Okay, I think there's something wrong in my calculations, people. But the answer that the given mass of O2 is 64 grams.
So I
That's
think
what
4 by 5 is 0.8, sir.
4 by 5 is 0.8. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, so it is 0.8 into number of, okay, so fine, 0.8 is equal to number of moles of O2 by number of moles of O2 plus 0.5. Now it will be 0.5 into 0.8 will become 0.4. So 0.4 is equal to
0.2 NO would be number of moles of O2. Yeah, correct. So I'll get number of moles of O2 to be 2, and that's it. So molecular mass, the given mass of O2 is 64 grams. See, a small mistake, how much time it took. So be really, really careful, people, whenever you're doing these calculations. It looks like a small number, but it will be very, very careful, right? So yeah, the answer to this question is 64 grams. Okay, everybody got it? Just formula substitution. Just I went wrong in the calculation somewhere. Okay, any doubts? Any doubts, people? Okay, right. So any other question can be solved. Okay, take down this question. Find the density of N2 gas. Find the density of N2 gas at a pressure of 1 atm at a, no, I'll keep it as 2 atm at a pressure of 2 atm, right? And pressure of 2 atm and at 27 degrees Celsius. And at 27 degree Celsius. Okay, I repeat the question. What is the density of N2 gas at a pressure of 2 atm and at 27 degrees Celsius? Very simple question. Do you have a direct formula for density, people? Do you remember the formula?
P by GH, sir.
Sorry?
P equal to rho GH. So P by GH equal to density.
Oh, no. What is the height? Then what will you substitute for height? Like that is not the thing. So if you can remember last class, at the end of the chart, end of this class, I actually derived one equation for density. Do you remember?
D equal to PM by RT, something like that.
Correct. Density. This is the simple equation which you have to remember. I have density of any gas, right, will be equal to pressure Tm by R into T, where this M is the molar mass of the gas. That's it. The substitute and tell me the answer. See, you have to remember the formulas. If this chapter is all about formulas, if you remember the formula, quick, 5 marks to 3 marks. Very simple to get marks on this chapter if you remember the formulas. Okay, so density is equal to Tm by RT, where M is the molecular mass. Please don't forget this. Not the given mass. It's the molecular mass. So if everything is given, 2 molecular mass of N2. Now N is 14, so number of molecular mass of N2 will be 28 divided by R is 0.08. Temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, which will become 300 Kelvin. Again and again, I'm telling you, do not put temperature in terms of degrees Celsius. It will always be Kelvin, right? So yeah, that's it. You just have to find the density. So if you can do that, this will become 150 times.
So it's a 2.333 bar.
Gave my own problem. I gave some numbers. We'll check. So 150 into 8. 150, that would be 300. 300 into 4 is 1200. 1200.
6 by 24.
12. Yeah, right. So 28 divided by 12 is what I have. So it will be 14 divided by 6 is what you have, right? So 14 divided by 6 would be approximately 2.333, so on and so forth. This is the answer, right? So I think someone told me this answer 2.3. Rohan, is it you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So 2.3333 is the answer. It's very simple question, right? So we have consolidated all the formulas we have seen till now, right? So we have seen ideal gas equation, we have seen Dalton's law of partial pressures, and we have seen an equation like formula in problem for density also. Okay. So next class we'll be dealing with something called as kinetic theory of gases, right? So basically, I am going to tell you what exactly is an ideal gas, what are all the assumptions made for an ideal gas, and how is it different from real situation, right? So all and about say if at a particular temperature, I will be able to calculate at what velocity that gas will travel, right? So all these things we'll see next class. Okay. So until then, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.